My name is Nefertarius Akili McPherson. I am a lawyer. I am a recent liver transplant recipient, and I am now an organ donor advocate. For me to be named one of the 40 under 40, especially for the inaugural class, was an unbelievable feeling. I was not in the traditional role as a practicing attorney. Instead, I was the press secretary for United States Trade Representative Ron Kirk. And I always just thought, when it came to the top 40 under 40, that they would consider people who were actively practicing law. And instead, I was in the international trade field, working directly with our senior attorneys, actually our entire legal section, dealing with international trade issues. For example, when another country sues the United States, or when the United States sues another country under the World Trade Organization. So to have what I was doing recognized and to be viewed as one who was making a difference just in a different aspect of the legal field was very humbling for me, and it was definitely an honor. The advice I have for young law students, young lawyers, is how important it is to persevere. Life happens, and for me, life happened in the form of getting sick during my first year of law school. I was diagnosed with secondary sclerosing cholangitis, which is a very rare bile duct and liver disease, and it eventually led to me getting a liver transplant last year, November 6, 2011. During the time that I was in law school, quitting was never an option. I was determined, no matter how sick I was, no matter how often I had to fly back and forth from Dallas, where I was in law school at Southern Methodist University, flying back and forth to the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, I was determined to finish school. And I did that. I persevered, and I overcame the hurdles that often came up in my path, and I graduated on time and graduated cum laude. And I always tell law students, if I can make it through law school, you can too. Life happens. Life is difficult, especially when you're going through law school. But then there are times when other things come your way. And instead of backing away, instead of being afraid or quitting, I always tell people to persevere, because if you can make it through the tough times, you will see that helps you grow, and that it's going to actually help you be a better lawyer. So perseverance for me is the key. For me, I want to definitely take this time to thank Taitlin Shea Hughes, my 12-year-old organ donor from West Virginia, for giving me my second chance at life. Oftentimes we hear about organ donation, but a lot of people don't know anyone in particular who has gone through it. And I often found that was the case when it came to my family and friends. As I said earlier, I was diagnosed during my first year of law school with secondary sclerosing cholangitis. As a result, I ended up needing a liver transplant. But never in my wildest dreams did I ever imagine that my donor would be a child. I experienced extreme highs and lows on November 6th when I received that phone call that I had been waiting 5.5 months for, 172 days, letting me know that a potential donor had been identified and that I needed to get to the hospital, Georgetown University Hospital in Washington, D.C., as soon as possible. I was ecstatic and nervous at the same time, but then I found out that my transplant team was heading to Children's Hospital to possibly get my liver. I can't even begin to explain to you what it was like knowing that a child had died in order that I could have my second chance at life. So for me, as much as I love the law, I now spend my time educating people about the importance of organ donation and how it saves lives, and also doing my part to keep my organ donor's memory alive. At the age of 11, Taitlin told her parents that if anything were to ever happen to her, she wanted to donate her organs and save lives. She also wanted to change the world. Well, on November 6th, she not only saved my life, but she saved the lives of 3 other people. 2 people received her kidneys, 1 person received her pancreas, and I received her liver. I know for a fact it was meant for me to receive her liver, and I'm going to do everything that I can to help her change the world, even though she may not be here to see it. I encourage you, if you are not an organ donor and you want to find out more about it, to do so by going to www.donatelife.net. It is there that you can also register to be an organ donor. You can also register by going to your local DMV when you renew your license, checking the box, or even if you're savvy with Facebook, you can register on Facebook. Organ donation saves lives like mine, and I hope that you will strike up the conversation with your families and your friends, and that you too will see how organ donation is important and how it definitely saves lives. My final thoughts for law students, or young people in general, is that it's going to be okay. Even if life does not turn out the way you planned, it is going to be okay. When I was in law school, so much emphasis was placed on graduating from law school, having a job already at a big firm. Well, that wasn't my life. That wasn't my experience. When I graduated from SMU Dedman School of Law, I did graduate with honors, but I didn't have that job at a big firm waiting for me. But it all worked out because I ended up working on a contract project with Jones Day in Dallas, and then shortly after that was able to move to Washington, D.C. to be the press secretary for United States Trade Representative Ron Kirk. Never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that one day I would be a political appointee in the Obama administration. And now that I realize that had I had that job at the big firm, I may not have been able to seize the opportunity that I was able to take and move to D.C. and work for the Obama administration. So sometimes we may have one plan in mind, but the big man upstairs has something even better in store for us. So I just challenge you to stay faithful, and no matter what happens along your law school path, your young lawyer career path, or just your career path in general, even if you aren't a lawyer, stay focused, and stay faithful, and know that in time it is going to all work out the way that it is supposed to.